Go.
All right, good morning, Day number 1 of siding. So I've got Hannah behind the camera there. She's gonna help out to get started. She's not gonna do any of the staining today because it actually rained last night for the first time in like almost a month and a half. And so all the wood is kind of wet right now, so we're not gonna stain it until tomorrow. It's like the house is gonna tell you a story, and this is the story board. So when you're doing siding, what you want to do is you want to place the siding at the best intervals so that you don't have, I guess you could say, like a really awkward piece of siding. Like say a cut right below a window is only like that big, like there's only that much piece of wood left over. Like it's better to kind of get an idea right now of like if there's going to be any awkward cuts, and then we can make adjustments to the first layer of siding in order to kind of like alleviate that issue. So instead of having like a little cut like that, maybe it could be a little bit bigger. So what I'm gonna do on this board here, so it's like over 10 feet tall, so it'll get pretty well to the top of the house. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark the top and the bottom of all the window trim pieces so that we know exactly where the siding is gonna sit on it. So if we wanna make some adjustments to the very first layer of siding, we can do that, and then we're not going to run into any really awkward pieces of siding to cut. Like I've said before, on a lot of these, on a lot of the things that we've done in this house, I've never done this before, so just kind of figuring it out as we go along, and let's hope it works out. So we've got all the marks on here so that if we were to put the siding directly at the bottom of the house, like we'd see exactly where it's gonna lay on the side of the wall here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around, we're gonna hold this at the very bottom of the house, and then we're gonna mark where all the windows are gonna be, and the top of the door, that little window, and then if we need to make any adjustments for the first piece of siding, then we can do that. So. Alright, so we went around, the house told us a story. We literally only had to do this side here because the other side is the exact same. Yeah, so it looks like where all the marks are gonna be, we're not gonna have like any really, thin pieces of siding like that thin between, say, like a board that's like going across right here and like in the bottom of that window trim. So most of the cuts that I'll have to make are just small notches out of a big piece, which is much better than trying to like notch out a whole lot of it and then leaving like a little sliver there. So everything should go pretty well, I think.
I'm gonna go home and work on stuff because there's nothing for me to do here. And I think you have enough wood to get you going for a couple days.
Yeah.
There's no point in like sealing the wood when it's wet because I feel like it's not good to seal wet wood, like that doesn't make any sense.
So in order to get the first row of siding installed all the way around the bottom, I'm just going to be screwing some 2x4s to the bottom of the house, and that way I can make sure that the piece of siding is going to be level. The more kind of tricky cuts are going to be around the wheel well and stuff, but I'm glad that I still have the cutouts from when I did the sheathing. So these are the pieces of the sheathing that were cut out to go around the wheel well. So yeah, let's get this first piece installed here. So I've got the first piece cut, and what I'm going to do in all the exposed edges where I made cuts in it, like on this edge here, down at that end right there, I'm just going to take some stain and sealer and just seal up those edges. Then I'll just screw it down. First piece, complete. One thing that I came across in my research when you're doing siding like this, when you're just butting it up on top of each other with the planks, is that over time this wood is probably going to dry out and it's going to contract. So that means it's going to get smaller. And that means that the gap between this piece and the piece above it, it's going to get bigger. So you're going to be able to see through the planks. So when you're able to see through the planks, like you'll probably be able to see the white Tyvek. So what I'm going to do at all the joints across all the pieces is I'm gonna put a thin layer of black spray paint just on the home wrap here. This is a pretty crude method of fixing the problem, but it's the only good solution that I came across. And I know a lot of the home builders are gonna comment and be like, oh, that's the wrong way to do blah, blah, blah. You should have done this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand it isn't the best way to do it. When I was actually sourcing out the siding for the house and I was looking at the tongue and groove siding, it just looked like absolute shit. It was so warped. And in both directions, not only like curving like this, but also bowing like that as well. And I really just didn't want to have to fuck around with it. So that's one main reason why I'm just gonna go with the straight planks like this. This is a pretty crude way of making sure that you don't see the white Tyvek poking through. All right, so I got the first 2 layers of siding up. And this part here over the wheel well, that was tricky. That was definitely tricky. So now that I've got the first 2 rows of siding down, it's gonna be a lot quicker just to get these pieces in place, because cutting out around the wheel well was definitely a little tricky. So now it's just gonna go a lot quicker. So I'm just gonna work on this side of the house, I think, today, and maybe the back side end. And I guess we'll just see how far I get along today. So the siding looks like really, really good. It's just that, what is it?
Takes a long time.
Takes a hell of a long time. So we got here at about like 7:30 this morning. Granted, I only probably worked on the siding for about, there's only, I would say about just three and a half hours or so. I've only got barely even a third of the way up on this side, and there's still 3 other sides. This side here will take like no time at all, just because there's only 1 cut on the end. But yeah, this side is gonna probably take me at least another 2 days or so. So this whole siding is probably gonna take me at least 7 to 10 days at the bare minimum, I'd say. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a video for each and every day, just because like it's just gonna be the exact same thing every single day for all those days. So maybe I'll do like a compilation video, 3 or 4 days into one video or something. I think that might be better, because you guys are gonna get bored of it really quickly. Unless I can come up with some like inspiring speech to say before I do the siding or something. Every single day.
I would just make a compilation.
I think I'll make a compilation video. All right, it's starting to get pretty warm out, so we're gonna head on home, and we'll catch you guys on the next vlog. Talk to you soon. Peace.